Title of the talk is The Family and the Transmission of the Faith. The parents are the primary educators of their children. And when you say educator, then the most basic education that parents should be concerned about is the transmission of the faith. It is there at home in the family where the young people will have to learn how to fall in love with God, how to pray, how to deal with God, how to deal with our Lord, how to have deep, genuine filial devotion to the Mother of God. And so we talk about it, and let me first discuss it by driving home the point of urgency of doing apostolate in the house, in the family, seeing to it that the young people, your children, are able to pick up the most important lessons in life there at home. And of course, the most important thing they should pick up is the faith. And this is very important considering the kind of environment the young people are growing up in today. If families do not transmit the faith at home, chances are the young will not pick it up anywhere else. Because, in fact, the opposite of our values, the opposite of what we believe in, the opposite of the good things that we try very hard to pass on to the young people at home and for us teachers in school. The very opposite of these things are the ones that the young people are picking up from MTVs, social media, Netflix, Spotify. You go to Netflix, for example, and chances are the blockbuster movies that are available there, most of them will contain profanities, bad words. Many movies today present sex outside of marriage like as if it's the most natural thing and like as if it's the most acceptable thing. And so, if we do not talk about values, virtues, the faith to the young people, then it is media that is forming their conscience. And so, this is a very crucial thing. At home, it is there where the young people should learn love, should learn the true meaning of life, the faith, God. The greatest legacy that a parent can leave behind their children is a strong conviction that I have to be a good person. That's the best thing we can leave behind our children. Not the hunger to make a name for ourselves, the desire to be rich, be powerful, be influential. No, the greatest legacy that parents can leave behind their children is a strong, firm conviction I have to grow up to be good. And it's more than just teaching doctrine, it is part of it. Bringing up a child in the Catholic faith is more than just giving doctrine. It is especially in transmitting a way of life, a life that is centered on our Lord. That's why it is there at home that they should learn prayer before and after meals, for example, or that is where they learn to make Sunday, holy day of obligation, a real day of the Lord, a dies Domini. That it is there where they discover the beauty of falling in love with our faith, with our Lord, with the sacraments, with our church. Children are very perceptive about this. The only effective way to give character formation is through the powerful example of our life. And the faith is part of that transmitting a value to our children through the powerful example of our life. When they see dad kneeling in prayer in the church, that is more powerful than a 1 hour homily on the importance of prayer. when they see mom and dad setting aside everything to be able to fulfill the Sunday obligation of going to Mass, of lining up for confession. All these are far more important and far more effective. So, the example of the parents, that's very powerful. And that is how you are going to be able to transmit, pass on the love for God that you carry in your heart, in the way you show it, in the way you pray, in the way you go to church, even outside of Sunday, in the way you receive communion with devotion. This is how the young people are going to pick up love for God, love for the faith, love for our church, love for the sacraments, through the example of the parents, through the example of the adults. Here are some important points for the transmission of the faith. First, the life of piety within the family, closeness to God in prayer and the sacraments. And that's why it's important to have those family traditions of prayer, of going to Mass together as a family on Sundays. Sometimes praying the Rosary as a family. Many young people, for example, will pick up the habit of praying the Rosary while traveling, going from one place to another, when they see it in the family being done during trips, for example. Another key aspect is helping virtues to take root in children. Values, character. When I go around the country giving seminars to teachers, before talking to them about giving character formation, I first talk about the urgency of giving character formation. Urgency because there is a crisis, really. It is very important that if we are to transmit faith, values, virtues, character to the young people, we make sure that the environment is favorable to their developing this love for God, love for the faith, love for the church, love for the sacraments, and then love for virtues and love for what is good. I would like to encourage you to look into how you are working things out so that your children grow up with a good knowledge of the faith, and not just knowledge, but deep appreciation for our faith, for our Catholic faith. This year, when we are celebrating the 500th anniversary of Christianization of the Philippines, of the Christian faith in our country, believe it or not, there are people who want to take advantage of this year's anniversary to be able to push their agendas of abortion, divorce, homosexual union. They call it marriage, but as we said earlier, it's a travesty of marriage. A homosexual union cannot be a sacrament. It is not a sacrament, and marriage is a sacrament. And there are people who, powerful ones, in Senate, in Congress, who precisely in celebration of our 500th anniversary of Christianization, they want to push this agenda. And with that, think of your children as the ones entrusted by God to your care, to make sure you safeguard them from this kind of environment, that you protect them from all these attacks, attacks against our faith, attacks against our church, attacks against our religion, and then to see to it that these young people will grow up with the same strong, firm conviction that you have in your heart of your love for God, of your love for our Lord, of your love for what is good, what is right, what is moral. The family is the first place where we should be able to effectively pass on the faith to our children. And when we say faith, it is not just a body of doctrine that they need to memorize, but It is a lifestyle that we pass on the Catholic life, Catholic spirit, Catholic mindset, Catholic way of living to our children. And that they themselves, because of this strong faith that you pass on to them, will pass on the same firm, strong faith to their children, your grandchildren, and their children. But for this, we need, maybe this is the reason why Pope Francis declared this year as the year of Saint Joseph, because now more than ever, we need the Father to step in. The world is in such a chaos right now with all these news of pornography, abortion, teen pregnancies. I just want to point that out. Last February 14, the Population Commission Development, the POPCOM, wrote a letter to Duterte asking him to declare teen pregnancy as a pandemic because in the news article they clarified that 40 to 50, 10 to 14 year olds give birth every week, not every year as previously reported. I mean, think about the figures. 10 to 14 year olds, 40 to 50 of them give birth every week. And so these are all crises: abortion, teen pregnancies, addiction to substance or to lifestyle, this certain self centered lifestyle, addiction to video games, addiction to gadgets, technology, and then a certain culture of softness that is becoming prevalent in the world today, which is the reason behind the spike in cases of teen suicides. I mean, this is something we should be concerned about. Or, if not suicide, depression. With all these, I hope I've made very clear my point on the urgency of character formation, the urgency of making sure that these young people are given the help they need, the guidance they need. And we can do that if we transmit to them effectively with passion on our part the faith. And with the faith comes all these things of values, virtues, character, all the things that we hold dear. We need Saint Joseph, this year being declared as the year of Saint Joseph. We need him to step in and put things in order. And one of the titles he is given is he is the terror of demons. The terror of demons. I hope you find ways of being able to get your children to know more about Saint Joseph. Make some of those fantastic books available about him available at home so that you can get the others to read about them and to develop a devotion to this holy man who was entrusted with the most important task of safeguarding the family, the Holy Family, protecting Jesus and Mary. He did it, and it's good, therefore, for us to go to Him, to be able to ask Him to help us in this task of transmitting the faith, safeguarding our values, safeguarding what we hold dear in our life.